Absolutely. In fact, on my own stuff, when people tell me, business coaches tell me like, oh, you're gonna niche down, niche down, niche down. I was like, what do you mean by niche down? And I realized that, okay, maybe it is also niche down your market, like to, Bob Smith, age 21, college student, like that guy, you're my customer. I'm that one. We ditched. I found him. But I think it's actually the other way too. I'll say and for now. It may be something later, but right now I'll say and you got to niche down. You got to niche down into your levels of belief and be able to have conviction on topics and ideas that you're willing to die on. Like, this is the hill I'm going to die on, and I don't care if you agree with me or don't agree with me, but this is how things are. And it's not even like one of those perceptive truths, right? Oh, this is for me. This is it. So it could be different for you. No, 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 no. This is how it is. Like, stop giving that permission for people to also be on these key items, not on, don't be a jerk across the universe. No, I'm right for everything. No. Just on some key issues that represent you. You're like, no, this is the truth on this thing. And you speak with it with conviction, and people will come to you whose values align. And because you're starting to exert that fifth level influence over people, all right, and they're coming to you, they're attracted to you because of that. As soon as they hear that's you're talking about that type of thing, like, yeah, man, this guy's saying the things that I know my heart is true. And when you're willing to fight people on it, that's how you know you're at the niche level. Because what's going to happen is that other people will fight you. Because like, no, you're wrong. I'm like, no, you're wrong. This is where we are, type of thing. And when you speak of it in a more of a conviction basis, you will push people away, and which is the goal. The actual goal of niching is to push people away. It isn't to attract everyone. People say it's an attractive thing to your audience. It's more because of the population, right? You're only going for 5%, right? So the 95% need to go away to reveal the 5% of your actual audience in the masses.
Interesting.
So all the most successful marketers are not wishy-washy.
Decisive.
They're decisive and they're divisive. And it doesn't have to be in a bad way. It could be in a good way. People choose bad ways. Look at that choice. I choose to take this hill and stand up on it. And I know it is not the popular one. So
So when you say you can be divisive, but in a good way, what comes to mind when you say that?
okay. All right. So my most divisive moment is I tell people that capitalism is awesome.
I agree.
Right, because our values are aligned.
Fight me on
30 to 50% of our population will say no. Right?
Well, 30
in
to
fact,
50% of the population is wrong.
Yeah, exactly. In 60 to 67%, 60 to 70% of the world's population, by the way, will also say I'm wrong.
Okay, so one thing about that, 30 to 50% of our population that says it's wrong are the direct inheritors of the world that capitalism has created for them. And they are
Correct.
criticizing from within it without ever having had to contribute to its creation or development or the benefits that it affords the majority of people
Yeah.
that are within the system.
Or live in another fishbowl without it.
Right. These are people without the courage of their convictions that are not willing to move to China because communism is so much better. No,
Right.
these are the people that are trying to tear down the capitalist system from within
Hmm.
because they feel like it gives them some sort of moral superiority to do so.
Right. Because the connotation is that somehow capitalism became a bad idea, it became a four-letter word, and instead of something that represents progress, innovation, upping prosperity for everyone around it, it's become this. It is how corporations abuse the little person, like this stuff that happens in East Palestine with the railroads, right? That's capitalism. No, that's not capitalism. That's a company that's failed its safety regulations for like 50 years, is making bad decisions.
And here's the other thing that people, for whatever reason, don't understand or are not willing to include within that equation with the trains. The trains are unionized and run under the auspices of the Department of Transportation,
Yeah,
which is a part of the federal government.
yeah. There's that whole other big piece of that puzzle,
Which is
right?
why we should just give the government more and more power over our
Yeah,
lives, because if we do, then everything will be better.
ish. Not likely. Well,
Not,
here's where I love about capitalism, right? Capitalism is a grassroots idea, believe it or not, because it only works when the individual holds the power of their own economic prosperity. That is the most grassroots thing you could possibly do, right? On an individual level. I believe that you need some. No, I'm not terrible about like, no, everybody either stands on their own 2 feet or they're screwed. Um, no, I think there's a space for creating things that for the entire population. You know what I mean? Like if I'm gonna pay taxes, I would if here's this, if you're
right.
gonna pay taxes, I would like to see certain things. Because I don't see paying taxes as like oh, this is they're taking money from me. No, no, no. I am investing in my nation. Taxes to me are not a bad thing. I am investing in my nation. So, as a shareholder of the United States, I'm going to invest in this corporation, which is more accurate than we want to admit. And I want to see certain things in this particular company I want it to be prosperous. And I know I'm a shareholder. You know how I'm a shareholder? Because I have voting rights.
Mhm.
And because I have voting rights, then I know I'm a shareholder. So using my voting rights, I invest and using my tax dollars, I invest into this company, and I want to see certain things happen. So, yeah, as a capitalist, yes, I would like to see some sort of safety net or at least pathway if people are downtrodden, right? People can go, okay, well, this is a path. It's a path, not a platform. It's a path, right? That's open. The gates open up and they get incremented, right? Assistance to get them where they could be self-sufficient with the goal of self-sufficiency. You know what I mean? I would love to see that. I don't know what form that takes exactly, but you know what? United States is a nation, we could figure that out. And there are certain board members of this particular company, 523 of them. And it's a big board. They got a lot of business to work out, a lot of competing ideas on this board,
Yeah.
right? See the frame, right?
Yeah.
That frame shifts. Now, as a capitalist, that's how I see it. And that is a whole new like perspective. And then I don't think a lot of people think of their nation as that. I don't think as government as a power over me. The government is there to serve me.
Yes.
So when people say I want the government to do all these things, look, I don't mind having something that serves me that's bigger. as long as it serves me,
Yeah, and the bigger it
right?
gets, the less well it serves.
Well, and that's about piss poor management, right?
The
So
government that governs least governs best. I don't know who said that, but I heard it and it resonated. Yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
how much of the COVID relief money went to people who didn't need it or deserve it or use it appropriately? Companies that weren't reinvesting it in their employees, right? How many
Mhm.
billions of dollars of tomorrow's money did we spend on that? And
Well, oh, look, I got some.
and all because the
Yeah,
government decided, hey, no, 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 we need to shut down
the
most of
planet.
the businesses
Yeah,
just, because 2 weeks to flatten the curve, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Or two
No,
months or 2 years, whatever.
no. The more power you concentrate in the hands of a few people, and
Hmm.
this is the thing I don't get about people who say, we need to eat the rich. They've accumulated too
Hmm.
much. It's like, okay, so you want to concentrate more power and authority and monetary discretion in the hands of a
Right,
fewer people, but just in a government instead of in private enterprise.
right.
Like you're
Because
trading
somehow
the exact same thing.
the problem is that people are in both organizations. So you're going to have crappy people in private enterprise, and you're going to have crappy people in the government. Like you're going to have, like, I don't. People, it's not like I'm government, so I have this higher moral authority, and I'm a better person. That's a top over. That's a what we call a on the top bias, right? So we have a on the top bias. I don't know if I'm making up that term. I like it. And what it is that if on top is more important and more right than on bottom, you see that in everything around us. Every time we put something on top visually over something on the bottom, we assume the bottom is less. Everything from the way our world map is to the way we draw organizational hierarchy, we put the boss at the top and then we chain it down. Why? You could put the boss on the bottom and chain it up. It technically is the same picture, but we're top biased. And so whenever we have things where what were you saying? I got on that little tangent a little too much.
What was I saying?
Yeah. What were you just saying?
uh, the tendency for power to
Yes.
concentrate
Okay.
in the
And
hands
so
of
people that like this thing, eat the rich, whatever, blah blah blah, they are top biased to believe that, well, let's just take all the money, power, influence away from the private sector and let's put it into the few hands inside the government, because if it's in these few hands, it will be better. It will be a better steward there because the motivation is different. No, it's not. The motivation of money is not money. The motivation of money is power. So a human being is a human being. You put it all in one part. There's no more moral authority than it is in private sector. It's the individual that makes the difference,
yeah.
right? It's not the organization. It's not the sector or the big ism that we put over that, but it's the individual person that makes a difference if you use that power for good or if you use it for selfish reasons. And people in government do that shit all the time. It's like, are you kidding me? Like, trust has never been lowest in the United States when it comes to its people and its government. Across the board, it's never been lower.
think that makes sense. They're continually demonstrating on a regular basis that they do not have the best interests of their elected representatives at heart.
Right.
Like, how is our number one national security priority Ukraine?
Yeah. Well.
Because it isn't. That's how. And yet, where is all of our money going?
Yeah. Yeah.
In Ukraine.
Yeah.
Not doesn't make sense. That's not coherent at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, but it's agenda. There's agendas, right? People have a beliefs. People, I found this to be more true, right? Again, right? There's very few protagonists in the universe, right? There's a lot of everybody believes that they're the hero, and people have agendas, but those agendas are not necessarily malaligned. They just might be slightly selfish and counter to other people's agendas. And when people have two countering agendas, you get conflict every time. It doesn't matter. There's no good, no bad. There's just conflict of agenda. And I don't know. I find that that's is Ukraine the right play? I'm not sure. You know what I mean? I'm not sure. I know I know some people are very happy about it. Right? Some people are very happy about it.
Imagine why.
Yeah.